Thanks to today's sponsor, Running Heroes, the free app that rewards you for running. Download today for your chance to win amazing prizes just for running. All you have to do is simply download the free app, connect your Garmin or other activity tracker, and enter the free challenges for your chance to win amazing prizes from watches to running shoes to holidays. Enjoy the episode.
Your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place?
Welcome to episode number 239 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. Big show coming at you. All the news out of the pre-classic over in the States. Some big Australian performances there. Some training talk, listener question chat. Some Noose Marathon Festival results. What are we doing, Moose, on the weekend? St. Anne's Winery. Round 2 of the AV stuff. The Bendigo race. A bit of news there. And all the usual stuff that comes up on the podcast each and every week. Welcome to my co-host, coming to you from a cold Canberra, I'm sure, Bradley Croker.
Yes, winter has arrived. Left the coast this morning, and drove into Canberra, and middle of the day it was 6 degrees, and it's like this all week. So it might be a few treadmill runs this week.
Yeah, it's kind of come as a bit of a shock, hasn't it? It's rolled around quick, the coolish weather, but we'll be right. My other co-host down in Anglesea, back in the racing circles this past weekend, Julian Spence, welcome to you.
Yeah, pin the bib on, mate. Pin 2 bibs on, front and back.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, don't you? First one's got the timing chip. What is the back bib for?
No idea. Probably at the finish line for trying to identify finishes. That's my only thing. Maybe it's got, not during the race. It doesn't really show what division you're in, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Don't know about the back bib.
Bit quicker than a jog, Moose.
Yeah, wow. It's the team went to shambles on Saturday morning. All the withdrawals came through. So I was number 6 by the time we got to the start line, which meant my time was counting in the Premier Division.
Big Premier Division boy here. Tell us about your week leading in, and then roll into the race, because I'm also interested to know. Because it was much quicker than I expected this time last week when we were talking about it.
First session back.
First session, first long run, first everything. I ran on the Monday, which was the 23rd? Is that right?
Yeah, sounds about right, yep.
No, I didn't. I ran on the Tuesday. Ran 32 minutes, so got my run in. No dramas at the moment, so it's all feeling good. I don't really feel like I need to do any more at this point. Went out for a ride the next day. Pretty nice morning, but there's something wrong with my back tyre. I kept going flat, so I carry a pump, so I pump it at the top of the hill. Then I just rolled back down into town on a flat top, there was something real wrong with it. And then ended up at home, so an hour or 50 minutes of riding up to conference, which the running company have an internal conference. Thursday, I went up Wednesday night and ran Thursday morning, so we kind of run as a group. I don't know why it's only got one tagged in here, but I ran because everyone else went a bit further. So just left the hotel, went down one lap of the tan, back to the hotel, but it was pretty much dark for most of the way around the tan, so you don't quite get the full tan experience. But it's such a good place to run, the tan. People, good vibes down there. I mean, when I say good vibes, a lot of runners. Both of you would recognise this being from where you run by yourself a lot. When you get in an area where there's just a ton of runners, it's a good feeling. because there's just people doing your sport, and it's sort of, I got passed at one point by a girl in a pair of long tights with a crop top, full influencer style, and I think she was carrying her phone as well, and I'm like, oh, this hurts, getting passed along the bottom of the tan, and then you got to the hill, walking at the top, so that was my first little win for the week, passing her back up the hill. No, I didn't do anything the next day. I ran, so woke up Saturday, was always going to come out and do this race. We had a bus going for Geelong, but by I'm going to say it was about 8:30, there were a few sick runners that couldn't make the trip down to Bendigo, and so I was hoping to jog around in Div 5, just basically irrelevantly in Div 5, because we weren't going to get enough for a Div 5 team anyway. So I was just going to jog. But then when I became the scorer at Div 6, I thought, oh shit, I don't know what's going to happen here, but there's a chance that I might push a bit harder. And we started, so we were out there. The course looked like, I didn't really look at the course. I did a 2-minute warm-up, just jogged down and back, along the start to see where the corner was. And then I found myself in, there were 6 Geelong runners, so we all start up front. And the Premier Division teams have a slot up the front that they can start in. And so I thought, I better start up here with the team. But the gun goes, and 200 runners go past me, I'm going to say within 400 metres. And I ran a 3:35 first K without even realising or wanting to or knowing that I did it, just because of the swamp or the army of people that went past me. And I thought, oh no, what is happening? This is going to be really difficult to try to jog this one. And then I caught up to Grant Simpson, who's Geelong runner. Caught up to him, I was going to say about 500 metres, and he was gone backwards like me. He'd gone out a bit too hard, and I thought, all right, I'm going to stay with Grant the whole run. So I just ran next to Grant, and he had a pretty tough day, and so I just stayed next to him and made sure that he didn't bleed too much time, and that we finished relatively strong together. So we sort of moved through the field a little bit, but we also got passed by a number of people. So I reckon we probably maintained our position. I finished 100th. That was 29:08 or something for 8K. I ran about 3:40s, a little bit quicker maybe, and that got you 100th place. And this was a pretty tough course, mind you. No good footing in any spots, and very up and down. So I was pretty amazed that I'd come 100th, to be honest. That shows some real depth. But the team finished well, and we had a great trip home, and I reckon Geelong, culture rebuilding, unity building within the team, got a really good sort of potential, this team. We finished 7th overall. Brady, obviously you'll talk about how you won.
Yeah, I've just actually opened that. So did Grant not score for your team? He was your 7th.
No, he was.
He was 98th and you were 100th?
No. I was the 5th scorer.
You were 98th, it says here. There must have been a couple of individual guys in front of you.
Yeah.
So you're 100th on the results, but you scored 98 points for your team.
Okay, yeah. I was 100th in the race, though. So. And
Grant's that 100-point guy.
Grant. Oh, yeah, he would be. He was 2 spots behind me.
Yep. Yeah, you guys had a good day. 353 points, 7th overall of the 11 teams. Not far off St. Stephen's as well.
Yeah, we lost
Uni.
a couple of scorers, but it's coming back. That's Bendigo. That's the furthest trip we have to make, and that's always hurts the numbers. And then, we might not be strong this year, but I think if we get the culture coming back, where there's an expectation that you show up and you run regardless of how it fits in with your individual program or whatever, then that's going to help for next year. And I'm looking forward to it. being part of the rest of the season. And I just loved, like, the best bit, right? We're running past blokes. I see a guy up ahead. I'm like, Grant, that bloke's got a Div 1 singlet on. We need to pass him. We need to collect points that he is collecting for himself right now and his team. And so it's like for the next K, we're just locked on his singlet, and then we pass him. And I look ahead. I'm like, Grant, since Stephen's up ahead, we need to pass that guy. And it's just really cool like that. Like every single position counts, and you're running not just for your own little bit of glory or your own PBs or whatever. You're running because those points contribute to other people doing well and you celebrating together. And this is the best. Being back for one race, I haven't done cross country as a team since 2015, I reckon, and this just feels like it's home again. This is what I like about running.
Yeah, it was good to see you back there. And we should explain, so if people aren't familiar where you finish in the race, that's how many points you get for your team. First 6 people count, the lowest team wins the round. So the point, Andy Buchanan racing off for the first and second, that 1 point's just as important as the person racing for 99th and 100th. Like it's literally 1 point towards your score. And then the scores, are often pretty close. Like it can be the difference between 3 or 4 positions if your team, wins or comes second in a round.
It's so simple, right?
It is.
Yeah. It's simple like that. Like you versus the guy next to you, you're going to score this many points. He's going to score more than you, which is not a good thing because he's finishing further down. And the back, it gives people incentive to run hard.
Yeah, and the depth is what you also touched on. Like in the results here, you ran 29.08. If I just go like 20 seconds quicker than that, that would be like 10 positions. Like there's a lot of points up for grabs pretty easy. Yeah, and if I went 20,
50th and took off 20 seconds, that would be a big thing, big difference.
Yeah, it is. It's nearly 20 positions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, it's very important. Every position counts kind of thing. But it was good to see him in person, Croaks, back in the flesh. He was in a pretty good mood. Yeah, now it wasn't the smartest thing to do.
It was not the smartest thing. Everyone knows that. It's obviously it wasn't the smartest thing. However, when I finished, my legs were jelly. My quads were shaking. They were that beat up. And then I don't cool down because my mileage for the day is done. And so I just sort of go back to the tent, pack the marquee up while everyone goes off and jogs their cool down, and sit in a bus for 2.5 hours. Oh, the next day I woke up and it was pure DOMS, like pure marathon feels, like someone's got a hammer and just like whacked my quads up and down. I also had sore hamstrings and my adductors are very sore as well.
The adductors are that's what I noticed when I came back in January, February, going out for just an easy run. My adductors were always really, really sore. When you said that you were just going to run with Grant, it sounds like it ended up being pretty much close to an all-out effort for you by the end of it.
Normally at cross country, you go too hard early because there's a sprint off the line. You've got to find yourself a place by the first corner, and then you settle in. But by that stage, you've already sort of peaked the heart rate and you're lactic pretty early. Whereas I didn't feel like I was pretty under control the whole way, but my heart, I had the wrist heart rate on. It looked like it was really high. It
actually looks pretty accurate though here.
I'm not,
When you look at the map, it's pretty steady. Like it stays pretty even.
I could have gone. I reckon I could have run a minute faster. So there was definitely brakes on throughout the run, but the muscles, like aerobically, I handled it okay, but the muscles did not handle it very well. Yeah.
What did you think of the course? First time this course, 2 4K laps.
Yeah, course was good. I actually really liked. I really liked the ups and downs through the vineyards. Like you run through the vines, so you know how there's rows of vines. Well, at one point you got the option to pick the row you wanted to run down. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, and a lot of like switch pack type things. A couple of sharp, steep hills. which like if you're a good downhill runner, you can take advantage on them. And then no flat spots. So there was not a single spot that I remember where we ran and it was flat. So that's the sign of a good cross-country course. Footing terrible, which is, again, a good sign of cross-country course. You can't really find a smooth spot to put your foot, which I got sore ankles and sore feet after today, just because I think my ankle was rolling so much out there. It's like cow paddocks, and it was cambered nearly the whole way. So, like, you're on the side of the hill running across the hill. Nothing's cut in. You're literally just on the side of the hill. So, yeah, it's true cross country. I thought it fits the the tradition of that type of course, like that Lardner Park course.
He got introduced in the start line Croaks. Going through the favourites, and then we've got 214 marathoner, 2000 and whatever year it was, 19, 18 World Championship representative Julian Spence here. He's in the starters pen.
That's the reason he ran a 3:30 first K. He's just been pumped up. I
didn't need that, actually. I appreciated it big time, but geez, I didn't need it. And everyone's looking around like, this guy. This guy's and that first K, I went from the front of the field, front line, to 150th, I reckon, and that was within 200 meters. I had 150 people go past me.
Yeah, there's 340 people raced, so that would make sense. Yeah,
it's wild.
You're the guy the Divi 2 guys get pissed off about. They're like, we should be starting up there.
Yeah, I know. I saw the Mentone boys. Oh boy, Michael Kernahan. He came. I don't know how he started so far back, but him and Seth O'Donnell, those blokes charged around like full on sprinting. I had the Frankston fellas push around me.
Yep.
Yeah, the Frankston guys. So I was getting passed by a lot of guys that were clearly way better than me. But guess what? We earned our spot up there.
True. They did both score better scores than you guys, though. 270 and 292.
Doesn't matter.
But different
division. We're not competing against them. If we needed to beat them, we'd beat them.
They're the singlets you would have been talking to for Grant. Get the Mentone singlet, Grant. Get it.
No, not required. We're talking Bendigo. He was picking Nigel 50 more metres. He got Nigel Presto covered, but we didn't.
Nigel was in our... He was in our Div 4 team. He was our sixth runner of our Div 4 team.
Yeah, well, we would have liked that singlet. Would have liked the Bendigo singlets we go a bit harder for.
Yeah, okay.
Lately.
Keep going. That's good. Croaks, tell us about your week.
So Monday, my standard hour loop, except I thought I was going to spend the night in Mulligan. So they're at the moment doing like kangaroo culling. And so the reserve is basically closed between 6 and 6, during the week. And so I ran at 4:30, and so I was exiting the reserve at before 5:30, and I went to open up the door to exit, and it was locked. And I was just like, oh shit! And because it's like an electric fence around the reserve, so it's not like I can even climb the fence. Otherwise, I'm just going to get electrocuted. So I ended up there's another gate you could open up and then run next to the electric fence up the hill, and there's another door to go through up there, and I was hoping that one was unlocked, which it was. So so that was my run there, just an hour, 4:08.
So Croaks, is this a fully fenced in nature reserve?
Yeah.
All directions, so it's like a full box, like Jurassic Park style.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you've been there. You go through you go through.
But
you have to open up a door, a door. Yeah, you go through the door, and then on my long runs, I go through the other side and go through another door. So I reckon in the reserve, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, 10 different gates, doors that you sort of go through.
So how the kangaroos? They come in there, shoot the kangaroos.
Yeah, because they've got all of these protected species of animals and stuff in there. So it's a big thing here. This Mulligan's Flat Reserve. They do night tours through there.
How do the roos get in there then if there's an electric fence around the outside? Or is that
Yeah,
only
I don't know.
certain
But
times?
they cull there, but they also cull like just outside. There's a couple of different reserves that border Mulligan's Flat, so they cull there as well. But it always happens this time of year that the reserve's not always open, which is generally like when it's dark.
What would have you done if you couldn't get out of there? Did you have a
I don't
phone?
know. No, I didn't have a phone. I don't know. Like I would have just assumed that, I don't know, like the ranger or whatever was still around, because when it says that it's not being locked till 6, like you assume that it's okay. Because same thing happened a few years ago, but it was actually going the other way. It's like it was meant to be open at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I went to get in and the door was locked, so I couldn't actually run in there, which is obviously a better problem to have because you're not stuck in there. But no, it all worked out fine. Tuesday morning, jumped on the treadmill, did 35 minutes at 4:37s, and then track session for Tuesday night. Session that I did was 2 sets of 10 400s, 30 seconds between the reps and 3 minutes between the sets. So I hadn't done 400s off 30 seconds recovery for about probably like 6 weeks. And the last time I did it, I did 18 straight. But this time I thought I'd just break it up into 2 sets of 10, and it was a much easier way to do it, and there was a slight improvement from last time. So the first set averaged probably just over 70, and then the second set was just over 69, which I felt aerobically very strong. Like I felt like I was recovering really well in the 30 seconds. The issue I had was just the neuromuscular fatigue. Like I obviously don't do a lot of running at 250 kilometre pace, and you end up running close to 8K's worth, even though you're getting rest and you're getting 3 minutes between the sets. But that neuromuscular fatigue really started to I just noticed it, even though I was feeling like aerobically quite strong. But I think it's a good session. Like when you're doing a lot of volume, it just sort of keeps a little bit of speed there in the legs.
As you said though, it's 8K worth of work at 250, 255. Like it's, when you look at it that way, you should be feeling it.
Yeah. But I was happy with how I felt doing it. That's and the good thing about for me doing this sort of session is it actually stops me from going out and running like 65s, which we've had the conversation before when I've done that, and it's like, well, you're too old to be running that shit. Whereas 69 70s, I feel like I can sort of get away with. So that was Tuesday. Wednesday, did an hour 45, pretty much the same loop that I did the week before, 4:02s, 26K. Thursday, 45 minutes, so it was about 11K. And then Friday morning, we were heading down to the coast for the long weekend. And originally I was going to go down and do a session on there's only really one flat area around Ulladulla. It's Narrawally Flat. There's like a 1,600 metre loop you can do. So I was going to do like a longer session out there, just to sort of, because most of my long sessions or continuous sessions have been on the treadmill. The only session I've done outside since I pretty much started back training in February was the 6 minute reps that I did in Wagga. Everything else has been on the treadmill, but I figured by the time we got down there, I probably wouldn't have felt like doing a session in the afternoon. So I just jumped on the treadmill, did the session I've done a few times now. So it's 3 sets of 8 minutes tempo, 2 minutes pretty solid, and then 90 seconds jog. So for this I did the 8 minutes at 320 kilometre pace, the 2 minute reps at 3 minute K pace, and the 90 second jog at 4 minute K pace. So I was happy with how that felt. So it's pretty much 10K's worth of work in 33 minutes. Then got down to Ulladulla, went for about 35 minutes from home down to this Narrawally Flat and back, 4:02s. Then an hour Saturday morning, 15K. I was umming and ahhing about doing a second run on Saturday afternoon, but one, it's not very flat down there. Two, it's all on concrete, and I knew I had like a pretty long and hard-ish run on Sunday, so I decided to just not do a double on the Saturday. And then Sunday, so this is 5 weeks out from Gold Coast, and so I obviously 4 weeks out is this coming weekend, which is the week before Launceston, so I can't do anything really big that weekend. I can't do anything big Launceston weekend, which is 3 weeks out. So I thought, well, I'll make this one big, and then depending on how I'm feeling, I might do something, biggish 2 weeks out, and then just have a 2-week taper, because it's obviously not your traditional marathon sort of build. So anyway, I did about 29.5K over sort of the hilly parts of Ulladulla. I ran back past home after about 90 minutes and just picked up like a 250ml pop top of electrolyte, and then headed over to Narrawali, where I met Viv and the kids there. So they brought over the alpha flies that I was going to change into, and then they were going to go to the beach, and I was just going to meet them afterwards. So yeah, did 29.5K or so at like low 350 average, and then changed the shoes and did about 6.5K at 315 average, and then did a couple of K to round it out to 38K total. So averaged 344s for the 38K. Had
some good numbers here. So just first up, you were rolling like 345, 350K pace in those on monsters before you changed to the alpha flies. Yeah,
so I did like an hour 55 in the on monsters.
Over hills.
It's reasonably hilly. There's definitely some flat sections and some decent like stretches of downhill. But what I find the hills in Ulladulla are quite just punchy. So you probably get a fair bit of elevation in, a couple of climbs. But it's certainly, I don't know. I feel like doing a solid couple of hours over the hills sort of helps replicate the back end of the marathon a bit more when you do the tempo on the flat. So average about, I think it was like low 350s for the first hour 55, and then 315s for the 6.5K. I had one gel at about 90 minutes, and the 250 mils of electrolyte just before I started the tempo. I think the most encouraging thing for me was even at the end of 38K, like I stopped, took off my shoes and headed over to the beach, and like my legs just didn't feel banged up, which was a good sign.
Why do you run so fast for the 315s?
Yeah, what pace is that for a marathon? That 217? Yeah. PB pace, Moose. Get rid of the pacing job.
Yeah. I guess that's my question. Like, you're going to pace the marathon at 325s or something, right? Yeah,
but then hopefully I kick down and maybe towards the end I'm actually running that pace if depending on how comfortable the first 25-30K is.
It seems like a waste of a marathon to me.
I just want to get it. Like, I haven't run one since 2018, Moose. So who know? Like, I don't even know how I'm going to feel when I get to 30K.
When you're doing 3:29 pace for your 2K warm downs, I think you're pretty fit. That whole week is ridiculous. It's a good week. You are fit. You're going to feel fine running 2:25 pace through halfway.
Yeah, like I was happy with how it went. Like, I definitely wanted to challenge myself a little bit and wanted to sort of feel that marathon sort of like burn. Like, I don't know. I probably don't feel like I really got there because I still felt like I was relatively full of running towards the end. But I think by limiting, like only having one gel in that whole time and 250 mils of electrolyte, like what I try to do is make it as uncomfortable as I can in the first couple of hours, so that by the time I get to that 20 minutes at the end, like it's almost tough mental training as well, that you are a little bit depleted, and you have run at a decent clip over the hills in the lead up to that. So, but look, it was encouraging this week. Like, I'm not going to do a session till probably Wednesday afternoon. I might do like 2 by 8K or something on the weekend at like 320s, and then just 2 hours on Sunday. And then obviously next week's going to be light before Launceston, and then the first half of the week after Launceston will be light. So like there's not a lot of marathon specific stuff that I'll be doing between now and Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the week was about 158K.
That's a great
week. 2 workouts and 3 workouts.
3 workouts.
3 workouts with a long run workout.
Yeah. With that hour 45 Croaks, like the morning after the track workout, which was a good workout, you average 402s. Like, is your perceived effort Because like when sometimes I get rolling, I'm like, I'm running 4:10s like this. I feel like I'm rolling.
Yeah.
But like, are you putting the foot down a bit there? Or is that coming easy the day after the workout?
So it depends. So the week before after the hills, and I average about the same, the 4:02s, that one felt very comfortable. This one off the back of the track session was definitely a bit more of a grind. But once again, like I feel like, you know, running a decent midweek long run, even off the back of the session, like it does help. Like I reckon when I started to see improvements in my marathon, it was largely as a result of the Wednesdays off the back of the Tuesday.
Yeah,
like I
you're
feel like
intentionally grinding it.
It does get me strong. Yeah. And then I know that Thursdays, like I only do 45 minutes, and then I generally don't do a session till the Friday afternoon. So I do have, you know, if I do Wednesday morning, well, I have 2.5 days, I guess, before I then have to do another session.
Yeah. That's good. You're fit. Any news from Gold Coast about what group you'll potentially be pacing?
No, I haven't heard.
Telling me what the 60 to 8 minute group or something, I reckon. Try to talk some girls into running that fast.
Hopefully I'm on the front girls group, because then I can still run probably a pretty decent time off that. Whereas if I'm 45 seconds slower through halfway, like, makes it a bit harder. You got to run pretty quick in the second half to run, like, you know, a decent time.
Which goes to Moose's point, like, will it get to a stage if they did say, hey, we want you for the second group, that you'll say, I'm just racing, like, I'm super fit, I want to make the most of this fitness?
No, I think I'll do it, because, like, even if I was to run 70 minutes for the second half, which, you know, is not super, like, if I'm cruising through halfway, like 70 minutes then is not super quick. Like that would give me 2:22 something, you know, which is, you know, yes, it's not 2:17, but not having done a marathon since 2018, I think it's a respectable mark. And who knows whether I can even run 2:22. I don't know.
I do. I think you can run 2:17, 2:18.
If you don't think you can run 2:22, or if you're doubtful on that, then why you do your marathon pace at 3:15 at the end of the long run?
Well, because I feel like at some point, like, that's probably the pace I'm going to have to be running, like, to try, you know, to kick down. Yeah. Plus, it's only, yeah, I'm only doing it for 20 minutes. So plus, I thought it's a 1 mile loop, so like I think it's reasonably accurate around there, because I did do a 5K 2 weeks before the Albert Park 10K that we did, and
I remember that. Yeah,
and I ran like just over 15 minutes for 5K there, and then ran 30:30 at Albert Park. So like, you know, I think I averaged 3:02s on my Garmin for this race, and averaged 3:01s at Albert Park. So, but even then, like running the loop, I'm like, well, I'll give myself a little bit of buffer so that, you know, if I'm running 3:15s, maybe it is only 3:20s.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at this loop now. My trainer talk the other day, this does not get a pass mark.
But if you look,
at least 2 turns per K.
Yeah, but if you go and look into the spiky bit, there's no real big spikes when I do the corners.
What's Chevron?
Garmin Music 245. So if you have a look, like that's the one thing I did notice.
Why don't you look at that?
There's not a lot of big spikes where it says I'm running 240 around a corner.
No, but it drops down to 3 minute pace.
Yeah, but look at the last part. I was running close to that on the straight section. But yeah. Anyway, like it's probably add a couple of seconds and it is closer to 3:20s.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did it feel like marathon effort?
Yeah. Like I felt strong. Like as I said, I think every time I've done these sessions, like my legs have definitely felt like fatigued towards the end, whereas like I definitely could have just kept running, which I think the shoe technology helps, because back when I was actually doing these type of sessions, it was 2017, 2018. So we had the super shoe, but the training shoes were not like they are now. So if I was out in like just a normal pair of Pegasus or whatever, doing my first 2 hours at 350s, my legs were way more banged up than if I'm wearing this super cushion shoe. So you get to the 30K mark when you're starting your like tempo section and you're way fresher than you used to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they help.
Yeah.
They help. You know what? The 2022 Super Shoe, different story to the 19 super shoe. I'm an old. No, I'm just saying that because I can't run fast anymore.
Oh,
and the default seems to be when you stop running fast, you start blaming the shoes and stay. Yeah, no, I know they help, and I think that's one of the biggest benefits to them. How you can feel at the end of a long run, that's so good to be able to see the finish line and have poppy legs still.
Like I woke up this morning and I had no soreness whatsoever, and like the only thing was this afternoon when I started running, like my first 3K, I felt like pretty shit, but like I'd also driven in the car for 3 hours. But then after that, like my legs were probably a bit heavier today than normal, but like, you know, considering how far I'd run yesterday and at what pace, like pulled up pretty well. And I think it is the shoes.
Yeah, you still average like 4:08, I think, today. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Very good. This time in 2 weeks, Croaks, me and you down in Launceston. What are you going to run there? I'm very worried here, Moose. This guy's got to smoke me. Can you just do a marathon workout on the Friday or something?
Running 2 hours 22 at 3:44 is very different to 10K at 3 minutes or faster.
Got me concerned. I know personally I couldn't do that week that you just did, so I'm hoping I could do something different on race day.
I'm keen to have a good hit out, and I think what I'm looking forward to is after the last 10K, I feel like it brought my training up a little bit, and so I'm hoping that the same sort of hard 10K effort will just sort of bring training up a little bit more and just even make like marathon pace feel even easier.
Yeah. I'll tell you about my week, fellas, hey? Whip through this. It's a pretty straightforward week. 60 minutes in the morning Monday at 4:40 pace. Got out for 30 minutes in the afternoon at 4:38 pace. Did 6 by 1K with Archie on the Tuesday. Plan was to do a bit of a 1K over 10K pace, 1K under 10K pace. So I plan to do the odd ones in 3 minutes and the even ones in 2:55. And we totally cooked it. Didn't happen at all. Archie led the first one in 2:56, so that pretty much turned into one of our fast ones. But it felt like 3, like we were pretty comfortable. It felt all right. So then I led the second one, aimed for the 2:55, went 2:53. Archie then, I said, put the brakes on, just run 3 minutes for this one. He ran 2:52. Then I did put the brakes on and ran 2:59. And then the next one was meant to be fast, so he ran 2:44, I ran 2:47, and then we finished off in 2:52. Totally got it wrong. It was. I don't mind getting it wrong when you're not forcing it. Like it was never like we're looking at our watches saying, let's keep this going, let's kick this down. It was like we were trying to slow them down a bit, and they were just kind of, the fitness was hopefully rolling out of us, and was, it felt like on the day, like I averaged 2:53s, and I think I could have probably run a 5K at close to that pace if I wanted to.
You could run faster than that.
On that morning. No, I mean like on that morning. Like if it's like, hey, could have you held on to that pace for 5K at 7 a.m, you know, long sleeve shirts on, stuff like that, gloves.
I don't think that's his route. It's a hard thing to do that. You're better off using the fitness. I think you're better off using like the fitness that you could probably race at. I think that's a lot easier to go by rather than like, could I do it this morning or not? How are you going to know?
Yeah, true.
Often you wake up on race morning feeling shit and you have brilliant races.
True. Put it this way though, I would have preferred them to be closer to 10K than closer than 5K. Does that make sense? Yeah, and I
think it is more closer to 10K for you.
2:53.
Well,
not sure I'm in 28:50 shape, but yeah, hopefully. It felt
I actually think you're pretty fit, and based off your race, you're finishing with a lot of 29 low guys.
Yeah, that was positive. So it was a good workout, and as I said, like it wasn't like we were looking at our watch forcing it. So that would be a completely different story if we were kind of getting caught up in that. Got out with 30 minutes in the afternoon at 4:33s. Wednesday did an hour 45 at 4:22s, which was 24.2k. Got this bloke. I'm about to dob him into the police. He rides one of those like e-bikes, but he's got it all like hotted up. And every Wednesday morning I've been spotting him going over the new bridge on the footpath, and I reckon he easy goes like 60k an hour. Has like a motorbike helmet on. It's just way too fast for this guy to be like hooking around on footpaths and stuff. So I've spotted him for the second Wednesday in a row, and I said to Carly, I'm going to give the cops a call and just be like 7 a.m, be here at this point. you'll book this guy pretty easy. So, and he strikes him as the kind of guy who's probably lost his licence for drink driving. So he's got one of these e-bikes, like, I don't know, put a screwdriver in there somewhere, change the maximum speed, and he's just been humming across the bridge. So that was a highlight of that run. 6K in the Arvo, 4:31s. Thursday was my easy day. Did 50 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at the afternoon. Friday was kind of easy in strides before the race on Saturday. Actually caught up with a local guy, Alistair Evans. He's doing a big run raising money for cancer awareness and fundraising. He's going to run from Melbourne to Echuca in a couple of weeks' time. So I kept him company for about 45 minutes before I did some strides. So he's doing those big, I think he did 30K. No, he did 40K on Friday morning, then he did 30K on Saturday morning. So, yeah, you don't feel so bad when you've only got 50 minutes to get out there when you compare yourself to him. And then, yeah, the race you were talking about, Moose, St Anne's Winery on the other side of Bendigo, Ravenswood, I think it's called out there, 8K. Good race. I came 6th position in the end. It was really close, actual finish between kind of racing was up for whoever was going to win our group was going to come 4th, and then whoever was going to lose our group was going to come about 10th. I actually missed the start. I always thought they went whistle, whistle, gun. So they went whistle, and I was just like chilling, talking to people, like just thinking we still had a bit of time up our sleeves. And then they blew the gun, and I got pretty much people going past me everywhere. Grabbed a couple of people's arms to try and pull myself back up. So that was a bit chaotic for the first 200 metres, but then put the foot down and kind of got in the group that I thought I had to be in. Yeah, settled around that 10th position. I was kind of in the 3rd group at the start. There was kind of the 4 guys out in front, and then there was 2 or 3 guys in like a chase back, and then there was a big 3rd group. And we ran it pretty smartly, like we split. I'm pretty sure we would have negative split the second lap, and probably went from, I think we were 14 seconds behind Tom Thorpe he was in 4th at the time, with a couple of blokes in between us and him through halfway, and then we just worked pretty hard in that second lap to pick up a few guys. Pick up Thorpe, he stayed with us, he's a pretty quality guy, so we couldn't quite shake him when we picked him up. I found one of those courses where I went from feeling really good to really bad at different stages. Like there was times where I was like, this is good, I've got this under control, I've got plenty left, to then 60 seconds, 90 seconds later thinking that you're in a bit of trouble. And I think because there was one big hill, but there was just a lot of small hills, and you just never got, like, as you said before, it was just never flat where you could just relax and get some rhythm. And I felt like one of the hardest cross-country races I've done in a while. Finishing on a hill is never good. I did get up to 5th at one stage, but then just got out-kicked in the home straight, and we were super tight. I think there was probably 6 of us in the space of 8 seconds. So yeah, it was good to get 6th. I don't think I've been higher in a XCR cross-country race. I have on the roads. I've got a couple of 3rds on the roads, but I've never gone higher than that in cross-country. So it was good to be a part of that. Good to be a part of the Bendigo Bats taking the win again. 2 wins from 2 rounds. And that was a good race. And then
couple of comments.
Couple of comments on the Strava.
199 steps a minute, your cadence. That is some serious cadence.
Have you seen his easy runs? They're no different.
199.
Go and have a look. Go and have a look at one of his just regular weekly runs. I've noticed that before as well. I'm like, how the hell is your cadence so high for running 440s?
Looking at the end of it, 222 steps a minute in the home straight.
Andy cadence 177.
That can't be right, can it?
It's right. It will be right. You've just got really small legs.
I'm a pretty small guy.
Yeah.
I did struggle on that downhill. Like people were just flying down that downhill, and I'm just like, oh, no way. That was scary going down that downhill, that Big Dipper, you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then you had and they had
very worried about my knee on that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm injury free, and
he was 187 on this afternoon's run at running 440s for 30 minutes.
Is this good?
That is some serious turnover. Yeah. You're taking about I reckon. Well, if you did the math on it, every minute, I guess. I reckon the average out there would be like 170. I'm going to say that's the average kind of cadence. You're taking 29 steps more than everyone else every minute.
Yeah, right. Get the steps
in, boys. That's a lot of steps.
You reckon this stuff's accurate? Where's it come from? My watch.
You reckon you wear your shoes out quicker that way?
Don't know. I've never paid any attention to cadence. I thought 100. Is it 180? Is the like magic number?
No, some people have used that, but not really.
Just whatever works for you, isn't it? Is that it?
I was 180. I was 181 this afternoon. I was 183 for my Sunday run.
I was even 184 in the warm up, and we ran like 5-minute K pace.
Both of you blokes pretty small, high cadence. I'm basically like focusing on having a high cadence, and I average 180, and that's me like consciously increasing my cadence a fair bit to normal to unload my knee.
This is like spikes as well. Like once you're hitting the ground, you're getting up like you are on your toes for 8K.
Yeah, but you do it on the roads too.
Yeah, I'm sure I do actually, yeah, in heavier shoes. Anyway, learned something about my cadence in this conversation tonight.
Second comment.
Yep.
Talk us through those stick-on tattoos you blokes had.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a photo of that.
This was a real good laughing topic joke in the bus on the way home.
Team director Nigel Preston organised those, so Bendigo Bats tattoos. So I put...
No kickback from the team going...
No, it was good. I put mine in the same spot where you've got your Chico State one, Moose, because I'm like, well, I've lived in Bendigo for like 25 years before I lived to a Chukamoama. Surely it means more to me than your time in Chico State when you were there for 2.5 weeks.
Well, if it means that much to you, you should actually get a real one.
Oh, yeah, no, that's the plan. We've got to wait till we win
get real ones.
We're going to wait till we win the premiership first, then get the real ones. So this is just like practice it. We all got allocated. We actually got a little plastic pocket with your tattoos for the season. So some people use like 3 in the first race, and I'm like, mate, that's got to last you the whole season.
What about the hype? What about the hype around these blokes, Moose?
Jamie Cook comes up to me and goes, "If I run for Geelong, you're not going to make me use these stupid fucking tattoos, are you?" I said, "No, Jamie, welcome. Come across. This
I was
will be
thinking
your last
about
race."
putting mine on my neck, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know if we can pull that stuff off just in case. So, so it's a good opportunity to just practice where we're going to get the premiership ones at the end of the year. So, yeah, we're going to write bats. The lid's fully off. I jogged with the boys in Bendigo the next morning. So I did my Sunday long run down there, did 2 hours, and huge pack. I reckon that was about 35, 40 down there. The lid's fully off down there. The season's wrapped away. 2 from 2. Like we won everything, I think, as well. Like won Div 4, come first, second and third in Div 7. And fourth, actually. First, second, third, fourth in Div 7. There was like the kids. Did you see the under 18 Moose race? Race Moose? I think that's what I was trying to say
is that
there.
the family one?
No, the under 18 kids, like the boys race.
Oh, right.
Bats went like 1, 2, 5th, I think, across the line. Yeah, there's some good juniors coming through.
We actually had the under 20 girls winner for us.
Have you? I'm just opening that up now. Women's under 20.
Sky Alice.
Yep.
So she actually
very
Bendigo. Good. Sky had to endure a bus ride home with 6 blokes on the beers.
Jeez.
18-year-old Sky handled it very well, actually. Very well.
That's a bit of team bonding. Yeah, she beat Tully Rowe, a Bendigo bat.
Did beat Tully,
pretty good runner. So that's a big win there for her. So yeah, it was just good to be back part of it. Good to be back in cross country. Good to be running for teams. And but I'm sore. I'm real sore now. Like I won't be going quicker than 4:30s for a couple of days, I don't think. So yeah, that's that.
Fit. What's he going to run in Launceston, Moose?
29:15.
Oh, jeez, I'd be over the moon with 29:15.
Well, you should be aiming for that, really.
I don't think I'm just going to turn my watch off and just race, I reckon. That's what I've been loving about cross country, and switch off my brain. Like, I don't need to see numbers. I didn't look at my watch at all on the races the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
I reckon you'll run well down there.
Yeah. Just got to manage this... Just manage the fatigue the next couple of days. Don't get carried away. Like the main focus is really just getting on start lines now, not trying to like gain fitness in between.
Get a lot of fitness from this.
From races, yeah, that's what I agree. So you don't need to be pushing the envelope midweek in workouts and stuff. Like, because I didn't realise, but there's a race after Gold Coast as well. So I've actually got 6 races in 7 weeks coming up. So yeah. I could easily break down somewhere in there, so I've got to be smart. But anyway.
One workout, one race. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, or long run. What do you
prioritise? One workout, one race, one long run.
But you do the long run after the race on the Sunday?
Yeah, you do. You do it slow, though. You make sure of it. It's no croaker pace. It's easy pace.
What about if you did race Saturday, long run Tuesday, workout Thursday, but a lighter workout?
Could be done.
Could work.
Yeah, maybe.
Like just some threshold stuff, couple of
I would
mile
want to
repeats.
I'd get a better workout in. You can still get a long run after cross country. You just got to make it easy.
That's the question. Do you prioritise like a good long run or a good workout? And you're saying go the good workout and just do a time on feet recovery long run.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
That's it. Let's say into Patreon supporters, eh? Who you got, Croaks?
I've got Tony Ronald this week. Tony lives in Labrador in Queensland, and he finished second at the Gold Coast 30 15K yesterday. Got some pretty solid PBs of 17:37 for 5K, 37:23 for 10, 82 for the half, and ran 3:11 for Melbourne Marathon back in 2015. Has at least one child, possibly two. Lives in a beautiful part of the world, which will all be up that way in a couple of weeks. Was in Melbourne a few weeks ago, and he did the Alberto Park run. So thanks for your support, Tony.
Got me excited looking at his Strava account, seeing the pictures of the beaches up there, the sunsets, the sunrises. The course goes through there, doesn't it, Labrador?
Yeah. No doubt he'll be running something up there on the Gold Coast, I'd imagine.
Hopefully he's at the live show, Tony. Come say g'day if you are. Croaks will buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Just in your neck of the woods.
I got Lockie Hills or Lockie Flagland.
Hillis. Was it Hills or Hillis?
Hillis. There's another I in there, Moose.
Oh, yeah, okay. I have the worst eyes. My glasses aren't doing enough for me. Lockie Hillis. Or, what does that mean? Or Flagland?
That's just how he signed up on Patreon.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully it's not someone trying to stitch us up again with like fake names.
Yeah. That was quickly pointed out to me several times.
I actually knew it, and that's why I gave it to you. I'm like,
bullshit. You did not know it. You did not know it.
Ask my wife, because on the Sunday, I said to her, I can't find anything on this person, and I think it's this joke. And then she goes, oh, that's disgusting. You cannot bring that up on air if the other boys don't click. So I just sat here and I was like, yes, that is disgusting. I'm not going to bring it up.
And then I started talking about Rod Dixon.
Yeah. And I was like, come on, boys. Straight over both of your heads.
I had no idea what was going on. We were fools. Anyway, Lockie Hillis, Flagland, he's from Edinburgh and in Adelaide. So he's from two places. He's run a 5K, 17:11. 10K in 36:23, a half marathon 1:20:02, and a full marathon 2:59:42. So he's just a little bit faster than Tony Ronald. Has recently been playing a bit of cricket, which isn't great for his running, and I might add, not great for his reputation. Cricketers, not the coolest dudes in the world. Looks to be quite good at cricket though. Good cricket is probably pretty cool. Has a start at London this October, so is about to get into the meaty stuff for that. Good luck. All the best, Lockie Hillis Flagland.
I'm going to thank James Cox, also from over that way, London, UK. 2031, that's his PB listed for 5K on Strava, but then his 10K PB, this is an estimated best. He's gone in and put these as his PBs. His 10K is then 36:35. So I'll be taking the first or second half of that 10K, which is much quicker than your 2031, James. Get that updated. 1:24 for the half and 2:50:30 at the Manchester Marathon a few weeks ago. That was the one that Ed Goddard ran, boys, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So that was James, and hasn't put anything on Strava since then. So I'm assuming that he's on a bit of a bender. Had a good result, had a big PB. Check out his splits. First half, 1:25:14. Second half, 1:25:16. So he's executed that pretty well. And hopefully it's not a post-marathon injury, James, and hopefully you're just celebrating, having a bit of downtime, which is always a good thing to do post-marathon, enjoying all the other things in life before you're getting back into things. And a massive thank you to you, Lockie, Tony, for your support of the Inside Running podcast. Get the show early, get all the bonus content, more bonus content coming soon when I know the World Champs and Commonwealth Games teams to start building some bonus content there, hopefully. And that's highly appreciated from us, anyone over there on patreon.com/Inside Running Podcast who supports the show. So if this show brings you value, you know where to find out the place to add some support. Let's talk about some running news, boys. Prefontaine Classic. Croaks, you're all over the Diamond Leagues with your Foxtel subscription.
I was down the coast though this weekend, but Dad had KO Sports, so and plus it was perfect timing really. It was like 6 to 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, so I set the alarm to get up and watch this before my long run. So we'll start with the men's 5K. It wasn't a super exciting race to watch because Arigawi, after about 2.5K, just took off. And it was basically him and Daylight second. So he ran 12:50 and won by 16 seconds. Tafira was second and Borrega was third. From an Aussie point of view, we had Matt Ramsden, who was sixth in 13:17, and Brett Robinson was seventh in 13:21. So there was only 11 finishes in that race. Do you watch it, Brady?
I did. Same thing, Brad. We started the long run at 7, so I saw the 5K. I was at my parents' house as well, hooking into my father's Foxtail account, and I saw the 5K and the 1500 before I went. And it was real anticlimactic. Like, even the crowds looked small, looked wet, it looked rainy. Like, when my alarm went off, I was like, oh, yes, pre-classic before I get to go for the long run. And then when I turned it on, I was like, this doesn't seem like the usual pre-classic. Yeah. And then the way the race went, like, you hardly saw Brett or Ramsden. Yeah. And I actually thought, I'm like, Arigawi could possibly lap them if they're having a bad day in a second, but just because you never knew where they were. And they both ran pretty solid, actually. Like, that'd be Ramsden's second, third fastest 5K. Has he gone much quicker than that?
No, not a lot. But I guess the question now is, so Ramsden is the Aussie champ. So if he can get the standard, he's an automatic for world champs and Com Games. But he's needs to take another 4 or so seconds off.
Yeah, 4.5.
And Brett was obviously trying to chase that time as well and doesn't have it. So, I guess Ramsden will keep chasing it. But does that mean Brett's done now from world champs and Com Games point of view?
Well, I assume so, because I'm inferring because he was added to the Launceston Elite Fields today.
Yeah, I saw that in the half.
Yeah, I assume he's coming home.
Yeah, okay. So that was the men's 5K. Women's 1500. This was a pretty exciting race, actually, and fast. So Kipyegon and Sege, it was a 2-horse battle between those two. And, Kipyegon won in 3:52. Sege second in 3:53. Jess Hull, she was fifth in 3:59. And managed to get over the top of Muir, who beat her the week before. So, but it was just different class, wasn't it? Those two out in front.
And set up pretty well. That's Pat Tiernan's fiancée, I reckon, who was the pacemaker.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Angel. They went through in 60, so they weren't mucking around that first lap. And same thing, it was hard to tell what that second pack and Jess Hull were doing because the coverage, they were just that bit behind. Like, you're really relying on seeing them in the background. And then... because I actually watched the finish, watched Jess cross the line without knowing the time. And I told the boys on the long run, I'm like, I think she's close to 4, but I wasn't quite sure exactly what she ran, that was her second time under 4, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. The Olympics are now that, so she's in pretty close to PB shape. 1 second.
And then your comment last week about, is there, a better track runner than a better Australian track runner than Jess Hull at the moment? And like, she's going well, but like that just, showed that, like, her versus the top is still like a bit of a way to make up, whereas in the men's Bowerman Mile, Australian Oli Hoare finished second in 3:50.6 behind Jakob Ingebrigsten, who ran 3:49. Like, he won quite easily, but Oli was just so strong down the straight, managed to come over the top of Cheriuyot and Kipsang. So he took some big scalps in that race, and also Cole Hocker and Cooper Tier. So Oli is just, he's world class, and it doesn't matter what people are rolling. He's going to be competitive, in the last 100 metres of those big races. Did you see any footage?
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube. Someone put it up there. But that reminded me, remember that year that Mottram snagged that bronze at the World Champs in Helsinki?
Yeah.
And just found something with 30 metres to go when the kind of positions, the podium's getting sorted out. Like, that was kind of what that reminded me of. Like, he's got fight all the way through to the line. And I made the statement that he could medal at World Champs or Com Games.
Yeah, and I think it's
my prediction as athlete, as one to watch in 2022 as well. Remember? So I'm definitely winning that.
He's, I guess, all the strength work that he's been doing with Dathan, Ritzenai, and that squad's really coming through because he was just so strong in the last 100. But once hopefully Stewie gets back. But at the moment, you'd have to say Oli's the standout when it comes to Australian track runners.
So you're telling me if you bought shares in Jess Hull last week, you'd sell them for Oli Hoare shares?
Well, I'd say Oli's share price has gone up. That's for sure. Yeah, over recent time.
Closer to the front. Jakob looked pretty easy.
Yeah,
he's looking around like anyone challenging this, or he just looks so smooth.
His quote afterwards.
Oh yeah, what was that? You can't be disappointed when people aren't good enough, or something like that.
Yeah, because the question they asked, were you disappointed that people didn't go with you or go with the pace or whatever? And he's like, you can't be mad, you can't be upset that people just aren't good enough, along those lines. Yeah,
it's like he's bored right now, and he's like, let's create some rivalry. Yeah. Like let's play a bit of a character for a while, and I love it. I think it's brilliant because
it's world record for him. I think that's that's what he needs to be chasing, because I can't see anybody beating him at the moment. Like he's just so dominant.
Not after watching that. No. That was like child's play to him. He was just toying with him the entire way.
And he was in front with 500, 600 to go. Like he led a long way from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was probably when the pacer dropped out.
Only other result we'll cover is there was an international 1500 at the same meet, and Charlie Hunter finished 8th. He ran 3:37, which was a PB for him.
It was a PB. Sam Tanner, New Zealander, got the win, 3:35.
Yeah,
haven't seen the race, just saw the results.
Coached by Patron. Is it Craig Kirkwood?
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Has he moved back to New Zealand too?
Well, yeah. So I watched the interview that he did after the race, and he said that will now seal his place for Worlds. But he's going to head home, run Oceania Champs, and then he's going to head back overseas for some more races in July, I think.
Because Oceanias are coming up, aren't they?
Yeah, June.
Okay. What date in June do you know?
Early June, 7th, something like that, maybe.
Must be next weekend then. This weekend coming.
Yeah, so he's back. Back down this way.
He might do some damage there. As I said, crowds look low, but there's some good performances there. And haven't they got they've got the World Champs, and they have NCAAs?
Yeah, but I wonder now, that stadium is so huge. I don't know what the capacity is, but do you think maybe the crowds look really low now just because the stadium's so big?
I did think that, but then they had the banners over the top stands to make it obviously no one can sit there, but then there was still no one in the lower stands.
Yeah, it was surprising. Right? I noticed that as well, especially when it is such an iconic meet. You would expect to see more there.
Maybe though, people often travel from around the US to go to this meet. They're probably saving
for World
their
Champs.
Trip for later in the year.
That's what I was saying.
Especially if it's a significant trip, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see what happens the next meet they've got there. Just quickly whip through these individual results from cross country where Moose and I were. Andy Buchanan got the win, 24:29. Andre Waring from Box Hill was second, 24:45. Seth O'Donnell from Mentone was third, 24:59. Bats got the win, 108. Western Athletics second, 105. Box Hill third, 2:18. And then the women's race, Moose, you would have caught a bit of this when you were packing up the marquee.
Yeah, I watched this. Yep, Georgia Hansen out from the gun in front. She won the race, 27:37. Melissa Duncan was second. Changed clubs this round from
this year.
This year was it? St. Stephen's last year, 28:51. And Rachel McGuinness came through the field in the second lap to run a very strong race, 29:18 for third place. Glenn Huntley were the winners, 68 points. South Melbourne, 83 for second. And Melbourne Uni, 140. Pretty good. Glenn Huntley had a strong team without anyone in the top three.
Glenn Huntley, yeah, so that's what we're talking about with the points. So they had first and second. Oh, sorry,
Box Hill.
Box Hill.
Yeah.
Box Hill had first and second, but they still finished fifth team because their fifth runner was 89th. So it shows how important a strong team is over two or three strong individuals.
With the depth.
Whereas Glen Huntley had that, didn't they?
Clearly, yeah, 68 points. Like that's an average of. Well, they only had 5 in the women, right?
Yeah, they have 5. Yeah.
That's like a significant point. The women's racing cross country was quite a bit smaller. I'm not sure if you still got the results up, but you want to give the
I do 149.
Right, so that's like half the amount. Why is it half the amount? When at a fun run, women would make up, I'd say, half to more than half of the amount.
Very good question. Do you have any suggestions why?
Not really. No, I don't have any ideas about that. Like. What could it be? What are we doing that's turning ladies off cross country?
I don't think the comparison to fun runs, like, because you get a lot of that. Like, it's how do they get the rec runners, the park runners, the fun runners, all those people to cross country?
Yeah, but why can't I compare that?
Do you think maybe sometimes the women feel a bit like intimidated,
yeah,
like a bit
elitist.
A bit too elite, yeah.
So what are we doing then to make it feel like that?
Yeah, okay. And why did the men still rock up?
Yeah. Why are the men not intimidated by that?
Yeah, I actually have no idea. But I know, I'm just thinking there will be a lot of people, the examples I just made, who would love all to do those things that we're talking about, but would not love putting in spikes and running through mud and up hills. And
don't need spikes. You don't need them.
True.
I didn't wear spikes.
You didn't wear them?
I don't.
Actually, I'm not sure of the question, and it's a bigger question. How do they get more people, and how do they get bigger crowds? How do they bring? Because these are still very good numbers to what we were talking about last week with New South Wales. So it's a good product.
I think like my biggest suggestion is you got to make the start time like 9:30 or 10 because
it's a whole day.
Mate, you know this. I'm not complaining to a Bendigo guy. Even an Echuca guy, but we left the house at like 7:30 and didn't get home until probably 6:30. That's a day, right? And you're it's a hard thing to get over the line with family.
Yep, and you're doing that times 10.
Yeah, I would rather leave at like 5 and be back home at 4. Or even that's still rough. But I would rather like condense it, shorten it somehow. Make it early in the day or late in the arvo. Probably not late in the arvo, but early in the day should work out. Because you do it at Albert Park, you do it at Burnley Half. We know it can be done.
Well, and that's when Park Run is on, and that's when the fun runs are on. So maybe that is an issue.
Yeah, but no one's doing Park Run and then coming and running cross country later.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're going to those things instead of this.
Yeah, well...
Because you can have your day.
You're either competing against them or you're not. And I don't, like... Yeah. Well, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got it.
So you've got to look at why are those things getting numbers and what can you copy. It was like the Strava segment. I thought having 2 Strava segments on course was a great idea. It's like, hey, this is something people like doing. Let's put 2 in a cross-country course.
That was cool. That was pretty fun.
So there were signs on the course croaks that said like Strava segment starts here and then Strava segment finishes here.
Oh, that's cool.
And you won prizes if you like bottle of wine from the winery there if you got the Strava segment.
It's a
bit of music too. Bit of music out there.
Bit of music, couple of Bluetooth speakers. I come third on the Strava segment, Moose. Should have mentioned that in my recap. Yeah, 1 second I got done by.
Went hard up there.
It was that one that was at the end.
He's just got the friendly GPS. He's got the friendly GPS.
Yeah, right.
Well,
yeah,
cool.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because some of these segments were very short, Croaks.
Yeah.
It's like it could be.
Yeah, it was a minute 46.
Really?
For the Strava 46? Segment. That was.
There were 2 Strava segments.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get the one on the hill, but the one that was Run the Vines. You know, the last when you went up.
Yeah, that was a good hill.
Down. That was the one where the Strava segment was. I think they got it right though. Andy Buchanan won it with Sam Toll. I think they were equal. But there was one guy who just jogged them both and then just tried to win the Strava segments for the day.
Yeah. And I think he did win the second one.
I think he did, yeah. So he, Jake Stevens, I reckon it was.
Yep.
Which, if you want to go home with a bottle of wine, that's something you got to do. Anyway, so that's that. Moose Runaway Noosa Marathon. See these results?
Yeah, I saw a bit because we have a message group with Louis McAfee, and Louis McAfee came second in the half. So we'll talk about the half to begin with. Kieran Perkins won. He sells milk during the week, runs half marathons and wins them on the weekend. 64.42 he won. He beat Lewis McAfee by 9 seconds, so pretty good race there. And then our friend Jared Clifford ran 64.56, so was just off the back of Lewis. So that was like a good 3-pack right there. I'm not sure if there was anyone else in that pack, but that's a solid cluster of finishes in a half marathon.
Dave Ridley was next in 67 something, I think, so it was those 3 in that pack.
Yeah, okay, so why you run 67? Didn't you do a threshold at like sub 3 minute pace during the week?
The week before, I think. The Saturday before on Instagram.
In the half marathon, Lisa Waitman cleaned up, ran 70.33. So a bit more spread out here. That's a solid run for Lisa. Second place, Vanessa Wilson, 76.16. And Murphy Rankin was 76.41. There is a little note here to say that 68.48 is Lisa's PB. So relevance of that note, Brady?
Just to be like, it's. I wasn't sure if she's doing it for what is it? Nearly 2 minutes off her quick 10K. Like, was this a workout? Was this marathon pace or something? I'm not sure. I don't think she was going for a PB if she's ran 70.33. I was like, it's a bit of an in between time.
What did Kieran Perkins run at the Sydney 10? He won, didn't he?
He won Sydney 10.
Yeah.
Did he just dip under? Correct, you were there. Was it 28.50 something?
Yeah, 28.50. Yeah, 28.50 something.
Same winners then. In the marathon, Wayne Spies ran 2:28 for the win, and Leah Fitzgerald 2:50 won the women's. Pretty flat course at Noosa, isn't it?
Just it loops, I think, like out back.
4 times, so it's like 10K loop.
I'm not sure how long the loop is,
Or
but
2.5.
It's flat. Like the only hills I'd imagine are just going over a couple of little bridges.
Oh yeah, so it's out Noosa Parade and back. Yeah. That'd be a good place to run.
It looks sweaty.
Tell us about the time you beat Pat Tiernan there.
No, that was a different event. That was Noosa Bowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Same location.
Same town though. Tell us, Craigs.
Yeah.
Any new listeners out there?
But Geordie outkicked me.
Oh,
that's
sad.
Right. And then there was some NCAA qualifiers from day 3 and 4 over in the States. There was a lot of them. These are the ones I picked out to be of significance. Ed Trippers ran 8:33.9 for the steeple. Imogen Barrett ran 2:02.6. Anyone know anything about Imogen, boys?
No, I don't.
I love how someone's just gone out there, Imogen, run 2:02, and it's just like, this is a completely new name. That's amazing, the depth in Australia. Adam Spencer ran 3:38. Cara Woolno ran 15:50. Zach Fiaccioni ran 13:44 for the 5K. Carly Thomas ran 2:03. And Kai Robinson ran 13:39. I think I reckon it was me predicting that he was going to lock away that Com Games World Champs time, wasn't I, when he was running 13:20-ish? I was like, he'll come down and run that 13:13. But it's not looking like that for Kai just yet. When's the qualifying period end? Have to be soon.
I don't know, actually. Good question.
Well,
bit concerning.
I know it's still open because and he was 12th in that race as well. Like, he was winning a lot of stuff earlier in the season over there. It is a good question because I did ask Andy Buchanan, running with him yesterday morning. I said, have you heard anything about Com Games? And he's like, no, but the qualifying period is still open. So they must be, if they're adding names to those teams, they must be waiting until it shuts.
It really wouldn't be hard to find out. Why don't you guys talk? I'll find out.
You'll find out the date.
Yeah.
With these NCAA qualifiers, like a lot of the time it's just ticking the box to get to like nationals. Okay. So you don't know whether Kai was actually like rinsing himself here or just doing enough to qualify and potentially still in like heavy training. So
gotcha.
Whereas I'd imagine obviously the nationals is the one that he'll want to try and win. But who knows these days, but obviously it's going to be a championship race, so there's a chance that it won't be super, super fast.
12th of June for the Commonwealth Games team.
Less than 2 weeks.
Still a while, though. How many weeks until the actual
Championship.
Commonwealth Games?
Well, Com Games are August, isn't it?
You don't put that on me. So, World Champs, we have selection window ends on June 26.
I only ask because if you got to start doing the training, you'd want to... Look, it must be less than 8 weeks, wouldn't it? To the Commonwealth Games marathon?
Oh,
So,
to the marathon.
World Champs marathon?
28th of July to the 8th of August is Com Games.
I'll tell you when it is.
So you go,
event timetable.
so you go 8th of August at the latest. That would only be 9 weeks.
Just trying to find.
9 weeks, yeah. That's 2 week taper in 7 weeks training. And the World Champs is before that. Imagine if you go into the World Champs and you don't know yet to do a marathon.
This is always the issue. It's definitely
So that
like
must be 6 weeks.
Yeah. Let me just find out about this marathon.
The
The marathon on Saturday, the 30th of July.
30th of July, so 2 months.
Gee, you got to start training. I mean, you should already be training for it, really, if it's only 2 months away.
Yeah.
I would be 2 weeks into a specific phase if that was me.
And in a potential hot race, like you'd want to be starting to do your heat protocols.
Well, you want to be preparing for a marathon, not like Andy probably plan his cross-country season out.
No, he said he's going to start planning just in case he gets picked. Start training for it.
Well, he's 8 weeks out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 8 weeks out, but he's only 2 weeks back. That's a difficult position to be.
No, it's more than 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks to Gels Park, and it's 5 weeks back now, I think.
5 weeks?
5 or 4. Was there 2 weeks between Gels Park? No, I think it's 5.
Yeah, right. You'll be ready to go then.
Goes quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's still not. It's not ideal. Like when we're talking, these are. It's not a general fun run marathon. It's a couple of the biggest races that there are, and you're not finding out until short notice. It's certainly not really fair on the athletes.
I agree. I don't think it's professional. Is it? Yeah.
No.
Anyway, Croaks, listen to question.
Okay, it comes from Joe this week. Hi team, you often encourage running in groups and the benefit it provides for both your progress and general enjoyment of the sport. Any tips on how to make this work/fit in when you have an individual set program from a coach? Thanks, Joe. It's a good question.
Good question, because groups are good. As she said that we said. Just repeated that. I have one of my athletes, he trains in a group on a Tuesday night up in Queensland, and he'll send me a message on the Monday night, let me know what the workout is, and then I will send him what paces or how many reps to do of that workout so he can still do it as a group, because I think that's more important than going to the same location and doing your own workout solo. So that's how I've made it work.
Pretty much that's exactly how you do it. Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. You bend for the group, unless it's like you have a race that weekend or you're recovering from something.
Yep.
You bend for the group.
And he did race this weekend just gone, actually, and I planned in his final surge, I'm like, you're not going to the group Tuesday night because I want you to have the extra day of recovery.
We'll go to the group and jog.
Yeah, do the warm-up, cool down with him, stuff like that, yeah.
You'll be part of it, but just don't do their workout.
Do the workout, yep.
So I've had people attend like one session a week with a group, and they'll do something similar. They'll tell me what the session is. And, like, at the end of the day, like, most running groups / coaches, like, the sessions are very similar, or they're targeting a certain sort of energy system. So whatever session that he does with the group, I'll prescribe the paces, but then the other session for the week will be something to complement what he's done with that group. So obviously if he's doing, like, short reps with the group, then it'll be longer threshold type stuff that he'll do on his own.
And it sometimes gets tricky when 1 week the group, say on a Tuesday, will do threshold stuff, and then the next week they'll do VO2 stuff. And it's like, so yeah, it'd be good to get in that system where you're like, okay, that's your speed thing for the week. I'll let you know your paces or how many reps to do. But yeah, then it's just a bit of thinking around planning to make sure you're hitting different systems to complement it, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want a consistent routine for the group, don't you? That helps plan around it.
Yeah, and you want to have And then one of the questions I asked him as well is like, who does write these group sessions? Like, you want to know that they're decent sessions coming at you. Because if they're not Dro, that's when you could potentially be doing your solo stuff if it's something that isn't fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you get an idea after a few weeks when you start seeing the workouts. If they're not enough, you can always add a little more.
But most of the time they are, like Brad said. Like, if people have got their own groups, they usually know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
Good question, Joe. Thanks to today's sponsor, Running Heroes, the free app that rewards you for running. Did you know that Running Heroes has given out hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes over the last 5 years to thousands of winners just for running? Simply download the free app, connect your Garmin or other activity tracker, and enter the free challenges for your chance to win amazing prizes, from watches to running shoes to holidays. Plus, Running Heroes is running an exclusive challenge just for our Inside Running podcast listeners. You could score one of two $100 Sportitude vouchers by joining the free challenge and completing a total of 50Ks of running between June 6th and June 19th. You can enter the challenge for free via the link in our show notes or via our Instagram page with the link in bio. Train and talk, Croaks, you want to give us a quick one?
Yep. So I'll just talk through. It's a session that I've done a few times now on the treadmill, but you can also do it outside. But it's 3 sets of 8 minutes tempo, 2 minutes hard, 90 seconds jog. So for me, I do the tempo, at about 60-minute race pace. Actually, on the treadmill, I've been doing it slightly slower than what I've been doing my 6-minute reps at, off a minute recovery. Then my 2 minute hard is probably close to like 10K effort. And then the 90-second jog is to feel, but I do try and actually keep jogging at a decent pace. So it's not sort of walking recovery. So for me, it's 4-minute kilometres. So about a minute a K slower than what I'm running the 2 minutes hard at. So what I like about this, especially when I'm doing it on the treadmill, is it breaks 30 minutes up pretty quickly, because you've just got that constant change of stimulus. Another thing I like about it is, after you've run 2 minutes hard of the first set, once you then go back to 8-minute tempo pace, that feels a lot more efficient and comfortable than if I was to do 30 minutes straight tempo. And I guess from a physiological point of view, the good thing about it is you do that sort of tempo, and then you spike the heart rate, a bit of lactic in the 2 minutes, and then you're trying to clear it in the 90 seconds and also into that next 8-minute tempo. So a few variations of this, because that's 33 minutes worth of running. I get some people just to do 6 minutes tempo, then 2 minutes hard, 90 seconds jog. So that's one that I enjoy doing. It's just fun. It's just fun changing paces, I find.
Who would you suggest it to, Bradley? People training for what? I think 5K upwards. Yeah. And it's also a good way of getting a decent amount of volume in, touching on a little bit of speed, but without, you don't sort of, I get 6 minutes of really hard running in the 33 minutes. So yeah, you guys done anything? Moose, you've done something similar to this, don't you? You do like
yeah. We've done this before. This was one that, you said. You said you didn't know where you saw it, but I reckon Ali gave me this one first, and after she was already giving her athletes this session, and I hadn't done it before that, so that was where I first saw it. She told me to do it one day.
Yours six minutes into 2 minutes into a jog.
Yeah. Oh, and then sometimes it goes like 8 minutes with a jog, 2 minutes with a jog. So if someone's not quite, I'm going to say advanced with their running, they might need to have a little jog after the threshold, but they can still change paces after that jog, and you're going to get a very similar benefit from it. But yeah, I enjoy this session. It's good to keep the brakes on, knowing that you have something harder to get up for at the end of the interval.
Yeah, and for me, I really enjoy the second and third sets of this, because after you've done that first 2 minute hard, everything feels easy again after that. Like going back to tempo pace feels really, really comfortable. The one thing I would suggest for this session is erring on the side of caution for the tempo. Like you want the 2 minutes, to be hard, but you also want it to be under control. Whereas if you're running the tempo bit too hard, you can then really bury yourself in the 2 minutes, and you don't really then recover in the jog. The other I guess slight variation is if you're running the tempo a little bit quicker, then make the 90-second jog like a dawdle. Whereas I actually try and keep it flowing a fair bit, which means I don't run the tempo quite as hard.
Yeah, I've overcooked the tempo on this before, or the threshold. You want to feel like when that time's up, you're itching at the bit to go.
Yeah.
Not like pushing the pace to try and hit a certain time. Better to make that slower than faster.
Yeah, as I said, so when I'm doing my 6-minute reps, which are around that sort of what I think I could hold for about 60 minutes, I generally run my 8-minute tempo on the treadmill about 5 seconds a k slower than what I'm doing for the 6-minute reps.
Yeah, good. Love that. Add it to your diary, ladies and gents. Have a crack at it. DM Croaks to let him know how you went.
Hit him up
and slide into the DMs. What's coming up, boys? Anything at your end? Moose, what are you doing? Back home this week after your time in Melbourne. Bendigo, you been everywhere?
Yeah, it'd be nice to calm down for a little bit. What am I doing this week? No, not a lot. Just I did have a purchase this week though.
Oh, did you?
Let me tell you. Yeah,
finally. Purchase of the week. Sorry.
Look, I found something significant to talk about, and it's been a long time since I've purchased a piece of like apparel that has been a game changer. But I'm sitting here in my Patagonia fleece tracksuit pants, and I've never put on anything so comfortable. I've bought a lot of apparel where it's like, yeah, looks okay, feels pretty good, it functions well. Like I've got a rain jacket that's very good, Gore-Tex one, very cool Gore-Tex rain jacket, and that functions really well. That impresses me because of that. But these pants, they are so comfortable and warm. Well, I've got a lot of cotton tracksuit pants. I'm sure, Brad, you rock the tracksuit pants on a daily basis up there.
I love tracksuit pants.
Yeah, 3 stripes down the side, maybe some pins in them.
Mine are from Target.
Yeah, cotton though, and comfortable because they're cotton.
Yeah.
They're loose, baggy, like not restrictive. But if you go an all fleece tracksuit pant, you are going into another realm of comfort.
They're very baggy. I'm just looking at a picture of them.
They're called the T-Snap.
Yeah, Snap T actually.
Zachary, if you're listening to this, can you invoice Patagonia, thanks?
Okay. It's the first time he's done a purchase of the week of something he doesn't stock.
Yeah.
No, I do stock Patagonia.
Okay.
But I don't stock this particular pant. That's why I got them. I got them on our account, and it's like, oh, hello. But Patagonia actually makes some very quality running gear that we stock. You should see these shorts they got. Running shorts.
I made a purchase of the week, Brady. I purchased off Moose.
Oh, you got some of those things?
Yeah, got them just before I headed to the coast.
I actually purchased some of those things last week as well, actually, because my auntie gave me a Rebel Sports gift voucher, like for my birthday in December. And I'm like, I've got to get rid of that now. Moose has recommended these things. So, I got some of those tights as well. They're good.
Just triggered Moose.
Well, I didn't use my own money. I had to get rid of the voucher. What do you expect me to do? Chuck it in the bin?
Why the fuck isn't your auntie or whatever buying vouchers from me?
Oh, I tell you what.
We sell vouchers.
Yeah, but she's like a Bendigo person. She wouldn't even know your store exists.
Well, what she doesn't ask you? Hey, Brady, what can I get you? And you say, running company Geelong.
I told her, I'm like, you probably don't need to buy 34-year-olds like birthday presents anymore.
No, you do. You just got to get them vouchers to our store.
So, yeah.
Everyone's a winner.
I was talking to the boys on Sunday, Moose. I reckon you've got to start one in Bendigo, running company Bendigo. Like, there's a big boom going on down there. Like, you have shoes walking out the door. I
am very popular in Bendigo, aren't I? On the long run. Seemed like you chat about us for a while.
Yeah,
the Beast likes to talk about me.
Yeah, probably not good associating your name to the store, but you just get Andy Buchanan's picture on the wall. You'll be right. Shoes will walk out the door. Tights, Patagonia, tracksuit pants.
Why don't you come open it, mate?
I'm a school teacher, mate. I'm a school teacher.
You're a casual relief teacher.
Not anymore. I haven't been doing that the last 2 years I've had a job.
Well, you're a part-time worker.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm a learning enhancement teacher. That's my official role, I think.
I'll come open it, you run it, and then
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not running it.
Can work there.
Drive down from Canberra.
Croaks can do the cleaning.
Anyway, Something else is coming up. The Rabat Diamond League, that's on this week. The Oceania Champs are on. Our live show's also coming up in a couple of weeks, 5 weeks as well at the Gold Coast. So if you want to buy a ticket to that, snap one up. They're going quick. Croaks, what are you doing?
Trying to stay warm.
Shocking week weather-wise.
Yeah, and then, bit of training. Won't be anything crazy this week, given Launceston's less than 2 weeks away. So, how long are you going for? How long are you running Sunday?
Hour 45 I've got. My week's not locked in though. I don't know when because I don't know. I don't think I can work out until Thursday. Like I'm in big trouble. I'm so sore.
Oh, you're sore. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
so
don't push that.
Yeah,
don't push that at all.
So
I'm thinking of doing Wednesday night session, just like a light treadmill one, and then maybe like a midweek long on Thursday, and then something a bit longer, a longer session Saturday, and then just hour 45 or so on Sunday.
Yeah.
Might work.
That'd be good. Yeah, see Moose in person 1 week, and then 2 weeks later you in person.
That'd be good.
All the boys are getting together. Moose, what are you doing? Anything?
No.
I'm actually running with your mate tomorrow. Moose. He's in Echuca. Bloke called Ferg. You know him?
Ferg, yes. He'll be up there in his personal helicopter.
He just sent me a message saying he's in Echuca for work. What's he do for a job?
He works for some big property, like what do you call him? Magnate? Is that the word?
Really?
Yeah, around Ballarat they own everything, mate. Ferg owns his own bloody petrol station.
He's come up to buy Echuca Moama, you think?
Oh, he would be buying like the town next to it. He'll be buying Moama.
Okay.
That's what he'll be doing. He'd be in a helicopter up there.
Really?
No shit. Yeah, I think his boss has a helicopter.
Okay. Anyway, he's in town and running with him
Make
tomorrow
him
morning.
pay for the coffee tomorrow morning.
Might do that, yeah. Looking forward to that now. Free coffee on a Tuesday morning. All right, boys, we're done. See us next week. Thanks, listeners.
Have a good week.
See ya, bye.
See ya.
Thanks again to our sponsor this week, Running Heroes. Don't forget to download the free Running Heroes app and join our Inside Running Podcast Challenge on Running Heroes for your chance to win one of $200 Sportitude vouchers and plenty of other prizes with their epic challenges.
Under